And all the things that I'm going to talk about with you today are things that you've been lied to about. So society, the FDA, marketing companies, food companies are straight poisoning you, brother. And I think a lot of you guys know that because especially in today's age, a lot of this stuff is coming out.
Welcome to the Unapologetic Man podcast, the only podcast that's all about self-improvement, confidence, success, women, and being a man without making any apologies for it.
What is up, boys? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the UMP, the Uniform Mike Papa. I sincerely appreciate you joining me. And today, guys, we're going to talk about 10, more like 15, because I always deliver, lies that you've been told about health and wellness. Now, I've spoken about this several times on this podcast in the past because this is something that's really important to me. I'm 48 years old. I don't know if you're watching on video right now, but you've probably seen me before. People tell me all the time, dude, you do not even look close to 48 years old. People usually tell me I look about 10 years younger, about 38 years old. And they ask me all the time, well, what do you do? What's your secret? I'm not going to lie, boys. My mom looks really young. She's in her late 70s and she literally looks like she's 60. She's such a beautiful woman. I absolutely love my mom. Mom, if you're listening, love you so much. But I got some good genes. But on top of that, there's a lot that I do with my health and wellness that I want to share with you guys because I'm really into this. I really like to feel good. I like to feel vibrant. I don't like to diminish my state. I don't like to eat like shit. I don't do drugs. I've never drunk alcohol, never smoked marijuana. I don't take caffeine. I run a really tight battleship. You can bounce quarters off my pillow in the morning because I run a tight program. And all the things that I'm going to talk about with you today are things that you've been lied to about. So society, the FDA, marketing companies, food companies are straight poisoning you, brother. And I think a lot of you guys know that because especially in today's age, a lot of this stuff is coming out. It's been told that we literally have microplastics in our testicles. Every single male cadaver that they've ever dissected has had tons of microplastics inside of him. We also have forever chemicals inside of us because of things like Teflon, drinking from water bottles, all this bullshit that basically is derivative of a petroleum-based society. Plastics, right? It's all petroleum that's getting into our body. It's restricting our hormones. It's making testosterone go down. And this is something I'm really interested in because not only do I want to feel good, but I want to be as attractive as possible. And your attractiveness as a man is also based on health signs. How healthy are you? How strong is your immune system? How likely is it that you're going to pass on good genes to a child? And that's represented by the way you look. So I'm going to give you guys a bunch of tips today. Take the ones you want to take, leave the ones you don't. But I hope you at least get a few of these where you can improve your health, improve your life, become happier, feel better, be more attractive to women, because that's obviously the point. Before I jump into the content, gentlemen, I announced in the previous podcast that I now have a perks program. I'm not going to talk too much about it in this one because we have a lot to get through, but do me a favor and click the link in the description below. It's the very top link. It says coachmarksing.com/perks. I'm essentially giving you guys a ton of free shit in order to tell people about my podcast. So check that out. I'm giving you guys tons of free training. I mean, literally multiple hundreds of dollars worth of content for you to just help me out and tell your friends about it. So check that out. I even have templates that you can send to your friends, like text your friends a link to my podcast at the very bottom of that page. So check out the perks. Also, you're enrolled in a drawing to enter my 3-month coaching program for free. So check that out when you get a chance. All right, boys, let's get into it. We got a lot to get through. So first of all, sleeping. Sleeping is probably the most critical thing you could do to improve your health. There's a guy named Brian Johnson who I follow. He's the most studied man alive as far as his health is concerned. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to reverse his age. So everything that I'm telling you right now has been corroborated by his own research because I'm obsessed with this dude. I'm constantly watching his videos. I'm on his website all the time. I'm using a lot of his supplements. So I'd strongly suggest you check him out. I'm not affiliated with him. I'm not getting money to promote his shit. I just really believe in what he talks about. And he's basically reversing his aging. And your age is essentially categorized by, I believe it's called the telomeres in your cells. And they have seen his chronological age actually reverse because of these things that he's doing. Well, the thing he says that's the most important, if you had to do just one thing, he says get 8 hours of quality sleep per night. So this whole myth that we've been told throughout our entire lives that sleep doesn't matter, or you hear a guy like Arnold Schwarzenegger who's so fucking pumped and such a go-getter, oh, I have to sleep for 8 hours? I don't think so. And in his words, he said, sleep faster. And when he says that, it's a complete lie. And a lot of people have bought into this lie. I don't need to sleep enough. I need to get more done. It's this hustle society that we've been sold by marketing companies and other people who are trying to get you to achieve more, be more. The more you get, the happier you are. But boys, sleep is literally the most important thing for your health. So a few tips where this is concerned. First of all, have your room as dark as humanly possible. I'm talking down to the little light on your fire alarm. Cover that shit up and make your room completely black. You also want the temperature to be ideally in the mid 60s. I personally sleep at 63 degrees, which is the ideal recommended temperature. And I went to the extent of actually installing an air conditioning unit in my room so that I'm not cooling the whole house while I'm sleeping, but I can just cool my room down, and I have it set to 63 degrees. Second thing is have a sleep routine. Try to get to bed at the same time each night. It's best to avoid watching content, especially negative content, before you go to sleep. The blue light kind of affects your circadian rhythm. So the best thing you can do is read. I'm going to admit to you, I don't do that. I actually fall asleep watching my iPad. I'm usually watching videos of like soccer or dudes riding wheelies, or I watch this dude on YouTube called Beard Meets Food, and he does like eating competitions. It just relaxes me. It kind of makes me forget my problems, forget my stresses. And then I start to fall asleep and I toss the iPad away. Probably not the best thing, but do what works best for you. Optimize your sleep as much as possible, preferably not waking up to an alarm. But if you get 8 hours and you do wake up to an alarm, that's okay, provided you get enough sleep. So sleep is extremely important. This also includes taking naps. I forget exactly what the study was, but they did a study on nap takers, and they said that they actually live something like 5 to 10 years longer. Their chances of having a heart attack or a stroke go down significantly, and that's just taking a nap a couple times a week for only like 20 minutes. So if you could sneak naps in there, very good for your health. The next one, boys, is water. All right, don't get me going, dude. I could do like 10 episodes on this, but I'm just going to say a few things. First of all, they are putting fluoride in our water. This is the most insane thing I've ever heard. I've done tons of research on this. Their excuse is it keeps people's teeth cleaner, it prevents cavities. But here's the research. They have found that areas that have excessive fluoride in their water actually have, on average, a lower IQ. So if you're drinking tap water, brother, I strongly recommend you start drinking water that is purified. Now, you know those like Brita purification filters? Garbage, dude. Those things don't work. It's been proven time and again that you get like maybe a couple days of action out of it, and then it's just completely useless. You're basically filtering water through the crotch of your underwear, which would be just as effective. What I do is I purchase my water from a quality provider. They bring us water each week, and we drink that water, and we only use the tap water to clean our dishes and do things like that. Now, this also goes into drinking from plastic bottles. Brothers, if you're the kind of guy that's going to Costco and buying those bulk packs of water bottles that come in those like individuated plastic water bottles, horrible for your health. It's been told, and I can't remember exactly what the stat is, that we consume a credit card size of plastic either every week or every month. So don't quote me on that. But dude, even if it is every month or every year, a credit card size of microplastics into our bodies that are disrupting hormones, that are fucking up our immune system, that are making us into a petroleum-based entity is so unhealthy. And a lot of that comes from those little plastic water bottles, especially like the cheesy ones that are really flimsy, like the Kirkland brand that you could get from Costco. Horrible for you. Ideally speaking, you would have purified water in a glass or metal water bottle. I use this metal BPA-free water bottle from Yeti, I believe it is. You can get these at any store or online. I put my water in there and I drink my drinking water from there. It's like triple purified, reverse osmosis, sunbeam maximized, filter through the crotch of the underwear of a fucking angel, and then straight into my Yeti water bottle. I am not messing with tap water, and you guys shouldn't either. If it smells weird, if it tastes weird, that's because it is weird and it's affecting your health. And I also don't use toothpaste with fluoride in it. The research on fluoride has come out. I know there's a lot of dentists that are getting angry at me right now. My best friend is a dentist. I have clients who are dentists, so please save your breath. Do not email me about it. But in my opinion, through the research that I've done, fluoride is really bad shit. Get toothpaste without fluoride in it, unless, of course, your dentist recommends otherwise. But dude, I stopped using fluoride because it literally reduces your intelligence. So says certain research. All right, a few uncommon ones that I want to talk about, one of which is sun gazing. They tell us when we're kids that you shouldn't look at the sun. But guys, I always look at it from like a tribal perspective. What was life like when we lived on the plains, when we were in tribes? What did we do? We are constantly out in the sun. Did we wear sunscreen? No. Studies have shown that sunscreen goes into your skin, which, by the way, is the biggest organ on your body. So whatever you put on your skin, it's getting absorbed into your body and into your bloodstream. Sunscreen has chemicals in it that are basically getting into your bloodstream. So whether or not you want to wear sunscreen, it's up to you. I would personally use some that I'm going to recommend in a minute from a company that makes completely organic, food-based and animal-based products. But if you're using like chemical sunscreen, like Coppertone or some shit, horrible for you. What was life also like? We used to be under the sun 24/7. So is it horrible to get sun into your eyes, constantly wearing sunglasses or not looking at the sun? No, sun gazing is actually good for you. They're doing more and more research on it where it like opens up your pineal gland. It creates more healthy nutrients in your body. It stabilizes your circadian rhythm. So what I do every day is I try to walk outside in the grass barefoot. And I know a lot of you guys are like, damn, that Mark Singh is a fucking hippie, a soap dodger, a tree hugger. When you get a whiff of this guy's BO, dude, it takes you out for 3 hours. Hey, call me a hippie if you want to. I'm trying to be healthy, yo. So what I do is I walk outside without sunglasses on. I let the sun come into my eyes. You don't look exactly at it, but you can look next to it. Just get some sunshine in your eyes. It stabilizes your circadian rhythm, makes you sleep better, wakes you up, makes you feel good. Getting sun on your skin creates vitamin D. And the next one is grounding. And this is something that Brian Johnson also corroborates through his research. So for thousands of years, we were walking barefoot, or we were at least walking around with like leather moccasins on. Well, what the earth does is it grounds us. And I have done tons of research on it. I still don't totally understand it, but basically we get static electricity built up in our body. When you put your feet on some grass or some dirt, or you're essentially walking around barefoot, yes, even on concrete, doesn't work on asphalt, but it works on concrete, you are essentially getting grounded, just like an electrical device is grounded, which gets rid of that static electricity. And again, I'm not an expert on this. I'm giving you my layman's everyday knowledge, but it releases all that static buildup and fills your body with positive ions, I believe it is. What that helps with is inflammation. So if any of you guys have chronic inflammation, if you feel tired all the time, brain fog, it could be because you're walking around in rubber tennis shoes that's preventing you from getting grounded into the earth. We, for 200,000 years, were walking around barefoot. We have developed, evolutionarily speaking, to get grounded by the earth. And it has something to do with lightning hitting the earth. It puts, I think, positive charge into it. And we get like a buildup of negative charge. And again, if I'm wrong on this, please don't email me. The basic concept is stable, okay? Grounding's fucking good for you. That's all you need to know. But basically, we get like this buildup, which creates inflammation or prevents the reduction of inflammation. So when you walk around on grass or the beach is really good. If you live in a coastal area, walk barefoot on the beach, super good for you. It basically stabilizes the ions in our body and allows us to reduce inflammation. Right here on my desk, as I'm recording this, I have a grounding mat that I basically use as my mouse. So my hand sits on the mat and all day long I'm being grounded. I also have a grounded sheet on my bed. A grounded sheet is something that goes under your main sheet And as long as you're using a thin cotton sheet, you'll get grounded through that. So check it out, boys. Grounding, or earthing, as they call it, is really good for you. I'm going to tell you how fucking hippie I am. I have earthing shoes. So my shoes basically have a conductor in them that allow me to be grounded even while I'm walking around in shoes. While asphalt prevents grounding from being able to occur, concrete does not. Nor does walking in dirt, walking in grass when you have shoes on. I believe the shoes I wear are called Harmony 783 or something like that. They have some pretty decent styles. I got some decent looking shoes, but to me, health is number one. So even if they're not as cool looking as some like diesel boots or some like Nikes or some shit, I don't care. I'm being grounded and I feel great because of it. And again, man, I look 10 years younger because I'm doing all this shit. I'm sleeping really well. I'm drinking great water. I'm eating great food. I'm getting out and grounding. I'm sun gazing. I'm sleeping grounded. I'm working grounded. And I'm following my purpose as well as some other mental health things. But these are really important to consider. Grounding, super good for you. All right, guys, you've heard me talk about many times sugar and simple carbohydrates. I'm not going to launch into a fusillade of destruction on sugar and simple carbohydrates, but let me just put it to you this way. Sugar is poison, and they are putting sugar into everything. So I don't eat the crap at the supermarket, Doritos, Nilla wafers. I don't eat yogurt. What I basically eat, and you have to choose the best diet for you, is really a paleo type diet. I eat grass-fed and finished beef from a provider here in Colorado that I want to tell you guys about. I eat healthy fruits and vegetables, and that's pretty much it. I don't drink caffeine, but I do drink some like peppermint tea. I drink a lot of water. I also do intermittent fasting, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But guys, get your diet pinned. And I'm telling you, beef is medicine. And I know that's going to piss off so many people. I truly don't give a shit what you think. If you're a vegan listening or a vegetarian, own your frame, bro. But here's my thoughts on it. You have to eat the food that makes you feel the best. And when I say feel the best, I'm not talking about you eating a pound of cotton candy and getting a sugar high and think that makes you feel good. No, I'm talking about 2 hours after you eat, you should feel good. And it's very simple. Let your body tell you what's healthiest for your body. Do I believe that some people can be vegan? Yes, I do. Do I believe that some people should drink milk products? Yes, I do. I read a book several years ago called Eat Right for Your Type. The theory is that your blood type dictates what kind of diet you should eat. This book changed my life because when I read it, I was a vegan. I was actually a raw foodist because I've always been into health, but I felt like shit. I looked like shit. People used to tell me, dude, you look really skinny. You look unhealthy. You look like you got 1 foot in the grave, bro. What's going on with you? And I was like, oh, I'm a raw foodist, right? Can't eat anything that's been cooked over 118 degrees. For some people, I think that works. For me, it don't work. And I've met a lot of people it doesn't work for too. The carnivore diet is another option where all you eat is meat. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm open to it. But what I do is I eat grass-fed and finished beef. Let me tell you something you probably don't know. They can say grass-fed on your beef. Like if you go to Sprouts or Whole Foods, it can say grass-fed if the cow was fed grass for the majority of his life, but the cow could have been finished, which basically means towards the end of his or her life, he or she was finished with a certain kind of food. They could be finished with grain and still be called grass-fed. Now, a cow eating grain is unhealthy because it puts certain elements into the beef that aren't ideal for our health. But when a cow is grass-fed and finished and on an organic diet, free range, happy, is butchered in a way where there isn't a lot of adrenaline pushed into the meat when he's fearful of being killed, all these elements, when the beef is grass-fed and finished, that's the healthiest beef. So I've done a ton of research on this, boys. I literally researched about 12 different beef providers, and I settled on one that I want to tell you about. Not sponsored by these guys. They're not giving me one damn dime for this. I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart and because I believe in them. It's called Flying Bee Bar Ranch, and it's here in Colorado, and they will ship to you their beef in a really streamlined box that has like dry ice in it. Your beef will come to you frozen. I started buying it that way. I tested them out. The beef is absolutely delicious, man. It like melts in your mouth. It's the best beef by far I've ever tasted. We grilled up some ribeyes the other night and we were like, oh my hell, dude, this is heaven right here. This is the highest quality beef I've found, and you can order it anywhere in the United States. I don't know if they ship to Canada, probably not to England or Australia, but if you live in the United States, Flying B, like Bravo, Bar, B-A-R, Ranch, here in Colorado. I've been driving out to them, checking them out. They're the nicest people I've ever met. I just bought a half cow from them, and I got a freezer, and I got all my beef in there. I eat a pound of ground beef in the morning with some sweet potatoes, and that's pretty much my entire breakfast. Man, I never felt better until I started eating that kind of diet. So whatever your breakfast is, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, damn, dude, this guy's gnarly. I'm eating fucking McChicken sandwiches out of McDonald's every morning. But bro, it's probably why you don't feel very good. And for those of you guys who look like a chicken McNugget with tits, a potato standing vertically with a bathing suit on it, or a turnip standing vertically with a penis on the thing, it's probably because you're eating like shit. Sleep in your diet, the two most important things you can do for your health. So look at your diet, give it an honest, no bullshit assessment. Is this healthy or am I deluding myself? And if you want to get some high quality beef, I strongly suggest those guys tell them Mark Singh sent you and you'll get the VIP treatment. Highly recommended. So your diet, cut out the sugars, cut out the simple carbohydrates like pastas, breads. Breads are so bad for you, brother. And I know how good they taste, dude. I will decimate an entire loaf of fucking cinnamon raisin bread. I will eat the entire loaf. And then I'll feel like chicken McNugget with tits 2 hours later. But I'm with you, dude. I love baked goods. I love bread. But it fucks up your health. It ages you. It messes up your gut bacteria, makes you sleep like crap, and puts fat on you. Do you want to be ripped or do you want to be fat? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. You need to be down to the penny honest with what you're doing, and you need to improve what you're doing. If you can't afford the best kind of meat, at least look at your diet and be like, all right, man, you know, like the sugar-filled Starbucks lattes that have literally as much sugar in them as a Coca-Cola, this is the kind of shit you need to assess. And you need to be honest with yourself about it because it's poison. Sugar is poison. And I stand by that. A little bit here and there is okay, especially when it's real sugar, not corn syrup, which is just absolute freaking poison. That's okay. Everything in moderation. But generally speaking, you want to avoid the crap that they're feeding us in the standard American diet. Yes, SAD. It is pretty sad because it's a complete freaking lie. All right, boys, I know we're getting long in the tooth here, but I got several more I want to get through. Salt. You've been lied to about salt. They've been doing studies recently that says almost like the more salt, the better. So the way I rock it is when I have my morning beef, when I have my morning sweet potatoes, I put a generous amount of pink Himalayan salt on that shit. Salt tastes good because it's good for you. Did you guys know that Romans, the Roman army, they were paid in salt? So you're literally getting your paycheck a brick of salt. That's how important it is for your health. So I suggest doing some research on it. Because all the lies we've been told about, oh, salt's bad, don't eat salt, don't eat eggs, don't eat beef, because beef is poison, it creates heart disease. It's never once been proven that beef creates heart disease. Did you know that? Fucking lies sold to us by the standard American diet. Yeah, absolutely sad. All right, guys, fasting. I cannot stress this enough. I do intermittent fasting. I don't eat for 18 hours of the day, and I have all my meals within 6 hours. This really deserves its own episode, but here's what I'm going to say about it. When you're not eating, your body goes into repairing itself. It's attacking dead cells. It's attacking cancer cells. It's repairing skin. It's repairing collagen. It's repairing your eyes. It's repairing your fucking ball sack and everything else in your body, because this is the way we lived 200,000 years ago. Ever see that movie 10,000 BC where they kill that mammoth? They hadn't eaten for 3 days. They kill the mammoth and then they get to feast. Then once the feast is over, they got to go find a new animal. It may take several days. So our bodies are designed to feast, and this is the theory behind intermittent fasting, to feast for a certain time of the day and then not feast for the other time of the day. Your gut bacteria is replenishing itself. The lining on the interior of your intestines is replacing itself. But if you're constantly eating, which most Americans, English, Australians, and Canadians do, you're not giving your body the chance to repair itself. I'll probably do an episode about this because intermittent fasting has changed my life. I swear to God, when I fast, my eyesight gets better. I do 3-day fast every 6 months. And it's like for the next several weeks, I can see so clearly. It's insane how much it repairs your body. I want to say something real quick, and this might be controversial. If you guys ever get cancer or any kind of life-threatening disease, please, brothers, please look up the benefits of fasting. The first thing I would do if I got cancer would be to do a 21-day fast. And I know you're like, what? You can not eat for 21 days? Yes, absolutely. I've done a 28-day fast, and that absolutely changed my life. I am so about fasting. So guys, research it. And if you could do intermittent fasting, even 16 hours of no eating, an 8-hour window of eating, or a feasting window as they call it, it's really good for your health because your body needs a chance to repair itself. We're constantly feeding sugars into our system, constantly feeding these simple carbohydrates. What does bacteria, cancer cells, and other diseases live on? Sugar, simple carbohydrates that turn into sugar. Cancer cells literally need a diet of sugar to survive. So when you starve them, and this is especially effective to do before you start chemotherapy, you starve them for a few days, then you do the chemo, they're weakened, it increases your chances of kicking that cancer exponentially. But for me, honestly, I'm just telling you the truth. If I get cancer, I'm not doing chemo, I'm not doing radiation, I'm fucking fasting, getting into health, working on belief systems. I'm going health ways. I'm not going poison ways. And again, if you're a doctor researching this, I respect you, bro. I think chemo and radiation absolutely has its place and it's absolutely effective, but I'm looking at a different way. There's different ways to skin a cat, as they say. I believe that going the health direction is the best way to do it, and fasting has been scientifically proven to cure cancer, and I stand behind that. So why not use it to make ourselves healthy before we even get something like that? All the petroleum-based poison that we're putting into our bodies each day, this is the reason why cancer is skyrocketing. My stepdad just got cancer. And Ed, I love you, brother. You're going to get through this. He chose to go with chemo and radiation. That's his choice. I support it. It's probably going to work for him because it's stage 1. But here's the thing. All his friends also have cancer. He has a sailboat team that he races with. All of them have cancer. Why is this? Because we're being poisoned. You use a Teflon pan, there's forever chemicals in there. You're drinking out of the Kirkland water bottle from Costco, you're getting microplastics. We're washing our hair with chemicals. We're putting chemicals on our skin. We're brushing with fluoride. We're putting all this crap into our body that is simply not healthy. And it's your job, brother, to kind of dip into your hippy dippy state and really ask yourself, is this healthy or are they just trying to sell me shit? That's the most important question. All right, I have a bunch of others listed, but I fucking rambled on too much. So a couple of things. Alcohol, poison, dude. I don't care how much you argue with me about it. It's fucking poison. Reduce it or quit it completely. It is not good for your health. Masturbation, totally natural. Why does the penis have a head on it? To prevent your hand from sliding off. So masturbate, just make sure it's not chronic. I think a couple times a week is probably healthy. You're meant to come. You're meant to get rid of it. Masturbation, in my opinion, is fine. I do not believe in semen retention. I do not believe in nofap. I believe I'm going to do the same thing that my ancestors did 200,000 years ago. Homeboy would sneak off into the woods with his cantaloupe with a hole in it and bang that thing probably every chance he could. Masturbation, in my opinion, is completely normal. Watch out for plastics in clothing, such as polyester. Polyester, which is microplastics, will seep into your skin, particularly boys. And I know this is going to piss in a lot of your rivers, but I don't give a shit. Look out for your underwear. When you get home tonight, look at your underwear. If it has any polyester in it, here's what's happening. The polyester from that material is being absorbed into your ball sack, going into your testicles, lowering your testosterone, lowering your sperm count, getting into your bloodstream and fucking you up. So a couple underwear brands that I recommend are Nads, N-A-D-S. I don't actually love them. I tried them, and what I went with was Mary Wool. And you could get those on Amazon. It's 100% wool, no plastic in that whatsoever. Think about the plastic that we're putting on our bodies. Our biggest organ is our skin. We're absorbing whatever we put onto our skin into our bloodstream. So you need to start being cognizant of that. All right, guys, and a couple other things to round this out. I'm going to go ahead and button this up is lip balm. What I use is this company called Primally Pure. It's made with all organic, plant-based products. And the lotion that I use is from a company called Sky and Soul. And so is S-O-L. Did a ton of research on this. This is the purest lotion I could possibly find. It's actually edible. That's how non-chemically laced it is. And it is recommended to a guy named Dr. Pompa, Pompa. I strongly suggest you follow that guy on Instagram. He has taught me so much about this stuff. I also suggest following Brian Johnson, the guy who's reversing his age. These guys have taught me a ton about health, wellness, how to avoid being poisoned. Because guys, poisons are literally all around you. In fact, the hat that I'm wearing right now is probably made of some kind of chemical, probably has some microplastics in it, but it's like, we still have to live our lives, right? So everything in balance. If you even take one thing from this, hopefully mostly the sleep stuff, and I would say too, avoiding sugar and simple carbs. If you take one thing from this, I'm happy. But if you want to be gnarly the way I am, if you want to reverse your aging and or look 10 years younger, I strongly suggest you guys take a deep look at your lifestyle. Look at the kind of food you're eating, the kind of products you're putting on your skin, the environment you're in, the water that you're drinking, the toothpaste that you're using, the kind of clothes that you're wearing, and the stuff that you're doing every day to degrade your health. Cancer, heart disease, all these maladies are being created by a poisonous environment that we're not naturally suited for. We are not meant to consume as much petroleum and plastics as we are. It's just fact. They're hormone disruptors. They're getting into our testicles. They're lowering our testosterone. They're lowering our sperm count. They're making us feel like shit. They're giving us this plague of cancer. And cancer can't even survive in a healthy body. Think about that. So take everything that I told you, improve your diet, and if you want to get the best beef on the market, Flying Bee Bar Ranch here in Colorado is my suggestion. The same beef that your Uncle Mark Singh eats on a daily basis, and God bless America, do I feel fucking good. And they're the nicest family ever. Their practices are the best ever. They make sure that the cows are treated fairly, and when they're slaughtered, they're done so in the most quote-unquote humane way possible. It's always difficult to think about an animal dying for your food, but that's the way I've chosen to eat, and that's the reality I've chosen to accept. And if you're in the same boat as I am, check them out. They're absolutely amazing. So boys, this was a really long one, probably one of my longest podcast episodes ever, but it's so important that you improve your health, that you improve your diet, that you improve your longevity and avoid diseases like cancer, that I'm willing to ramble on like this with passion and hopefully change at least a few of your guys' lives by getting you more healthy. So boys, I do appreciate you listening. Before you go, check out the Perks program, tell friends about my podcast and get all this awesome content. What I'm offering you in return for you doing me the favor of telling your friends about my podcast is, in my opinion, really generous. I'm giving you a ton of awesome stuff. I'm giving you multiple hundreds of dollars, even thousands of dollars worth of content just for you to help me out. So check that out, utilize it, email me, and I'll send you all that cool shit. Gentlemen, I do appreciate you listening. I drop podcasts on Mondays and Thursdays, so please stay tuned for the next one, and I will see you in the next episode.